Welcome back. Now, Conor McGregor appeared in court today for the start of the civil action being taken against him. Frank Greaney, Newstalk courts correspondent, is with us to bring us up to speed. Evening, Frank.
Good evening, Owen.
So you might just provide the context, first of all, to the case and tell us what actually this whole thing represents. What's going on here?
Well, first and foremost, I think it's really important to point out that this isn't a criminal case, and both the judge and the barristers were at pains to point that out to the jury today. As you said, this is a civil action. It is being taken by a woman called Nikita Hand, and it relates to an allegation of sexual assault going back to the Christmas period of 2018. Now, I suppose the big difference between a criminal case and a civil case, both have juries, and in both cases, the jurors are left to decide on the facts of the case. It's not up to the judge or the lawyers. But I suppose the main difference comes to the standard of proof. In a criminal case, a case has to be proven by the prosecution beyond a reasonable doubt. In a civil case, like this one before the High Court at the moment, the standard of proof is lesser in the sense that it's on the balance of probabilities. It's a case that has to be proven by the plaintiff, in this case, Nikita Hand. In criminal cases, of course, that's a case brought by the DPP on the people of Ireland, by the people of Ireland, on behalf of the people of Ireland, I should say. So I suppose what happened today was a jury was sworn in. Conor McGregor isn't the only one on trial. There's also another man, James Lawrence. He was in court today as well from Drimna. And the allegation being made by Nikita Hand, and she did take the stand herself, is that she was sexually assaulted, in effect rape, as the judge put it today, by both men at the penthouse suite of the Beacon Hotel on the 9th of December 2018. Now, she took the stand this afternoon, and indeed she's not finished giving evidence. She'll continue to do so tomorrow. But in her direct evidence, she gave the jurors a little bit of background about herself. She's 35 years of age. She was 29 at the time of these allegations. She was working as a hair colorist in a salon in Ghostown at the time. And the 8th of December that year, back in 2018, was the day of her Christmas party. And she spoke about how she and the girls in the salon had a few drinks after they closed up the shop. They got changed. They went out. They had a night out. She accepted that she had a few drinks taken, beers, Bacardi and Coke. She also accepted that she had taken cocaine that night. Now, as it turns out, she knew Conor McGregor. She grew up in Drimna. She would have been friends with friends of his. Indeed, he was a friend of her cousins, she told the jury. And in the months before this is alleged to have happened, they had been in contact. Comments were made on their social media accounts and things like that. She said that she posted a photograph of herself in her outfit on the night out back in December of 2018 on Instagram. This is a story on her Instagram. And that Conor McGregor then began, I suppose, commenting on it. He asked her at one point where she was. She described how the night unfolded. A few of the girls went back to the salon. They kept the party going throughout the night. In the end, it was just herself and one friend left. And she had contacted Conor McGregor. She wanted to keep the party going. Conor McGregor had called out to the salon, then picked her up. The car was being driven by her security guard. Drove around to various housing estates, calling to various houses, she said. And they eventually landed at James Lawrence's house. So Conor McGregor went in there for 15, 20 minutes. When he emerged, she claims that he had a bag of cocaine. She said that she and her friend were given that bag of cocaine, were given some cocaine in the back of that car. She said that she couldn't remember seeing either James Lawrence or Conor McGregor taking cocaine. But in any event, they ended up going back to this penthouse suite in the Beacon Hotel. She didn't know which hotel she was in. She said they went into an underground car park. They were brought straight up to the penthouse suite in a lift that was in the car park. And she described how everything was going fine. They were all having a laugh. Drinks were being had. They were being brought up to the penthouse suite from the bar. Bottles of spirits and mixers were being had. And she said that everybody was in good form. But she said that the mood changed somewhat. She described how Conor McGregor was in the bathroom at one stage and he requested that she perform a certain sexual act on him. She said that she refused. She said she didn't make a big deal about it. She said to the jury that she was just there to party and to have a good time. She said that she wasn't there to have sex. The jury was then told, and she began to tell, I suppose, her version of events and the reason that they're all gathered there before the High Court today. And it was just shortly before the court broke up. But she did say that at one point she found herself alone in the bedroom with Conor McGregor. Now, there were two security guards at one point, one by the window and one by the door. And she said that she felt quite panicked by that, quite frightened by that. But sometime later, she found herself in the bedroom alone with Conor McGregor. And she said that he tried to kiss her, that he was rubbing her face, that she was having none of it, that she told him that she felt very uncomfortable because she said that she knew his partner, Dee, her family. There were, connections between the two. And she said that she just wasn't interested in having sex. But despite that, she said that he wouldn't take no for an answer. She described how, and I should say, that some of the details that were heard today were obviously of a sexual nature, maybe distressing to some listeners, because she said that Conor McGregor then, and again, this is an allegation, she said that Conor McGregor pinned her down on the bed, and she said that she resisted. She put her arms up. She tried to defend herself. She described then how he got her into a hold. And the barrister representing her at the beginning of the day, I suppose he gave a more detailed overview of what's alleged to have happened next, because as I said, the court broke up for the day just as Nikita Hand was describing that incident. And the jury was told that they'd hear in due course that Conor McGregor got her into a stranglehold, that he pulled her up by the neck 3 times, and that she resisted. But on the 3rd time, the jury was told that she succumbed, and she just decided to allow whatever was going to happen to happen. And that's when she claims that she was sexually assaulted. She claims that happened twice. Conor McGregor, I should say, through that opening address jurors given by her barrister, we heard a little bit about the defence that he's planning to put forward. Blanket denial is essentially what the barrister representing Nikita Hand said today. He said that when this was put to them, and in the documents that they've handed into court, both he and James Lawrence claimed that whatever happened to them in terms of sexual interactions with her were consensual.
We also heard testimony today, Frank, from medical professionals who were speaking at court.
That's right. Dr. Daniel Kane was the practitioner who met and examined Nikita Hand when she presented at the sexual assault treatment unit at the Rotunda Hospital in the aftermath of what she alleges happened in the Beacon Hotel. He described how she was extremely distressed, very upset. She did give him an account of what she claims to have happened to her, but she made no reference to Conor McGregor. She didn't name anybody in relation to the allegations that she was making at that point. Again, this was just a consultation between her and the doctor as he tried to establish her condition and the various injuries that she had. There was an examination we heard from top to toe. He examined her externally and to a certain degree internally too, and that evidence was put to the jury today. Indeed, there were some photographs taken of her by Garda Síochána after this forensic examination at the Rotunda Hospital. Those photographs were available in court today and were shown to the jury. Dr. Kane said that she was covered in bruises. All of her limbs were covered in bruises and scratches. He described some bruising on her neck. He said that it was, in his opinion, a lot of the injuries were consistent with the account that she had given him.
Frank, how long do we expect this to go on for? What do we expect to happen in the coming days? What's next, basically?
Well, Nikita Hand's testimony is still underway. She began her direct evidence, as I mentioned a moment ago, this afternoon. She will continue to do so. She'll pick up essentially where she left off in the morning. Once she has given her direct evidence, the barristers representing the 2 defendants in this case, Conor McGregor and James Lawrence, they would be given an opportunity if they so wish to cross-examine her. So that could take some time if they do cross-examine her. As to what witnesses are going to take the stand after that, we haven't been told. We haven't been told by the writer of the defendants plan to get into the box either. The jury has been told that this is likely to take up to 2 weeks. It won't sit next Monday, but they were told that it is likely to make themselves available for the next 2 weeks. And once all of the evidence has been heard, once both sides have an opportunity to address the jurors for a final time, once the judge has an opportunity to outline the law and the various legal principles that must guide them in their deliberations, the jurors will then be asked to go out and to consider all of the evidence. And as I said at the top of the piece, unlike in criminal trials, this case doesn't have to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. It is on the balance of probabilities. The jurors will be asked which version of events do they believe is the most probable to be likely and correct.
Frank Greaney, Newstalk Courts correspondent, thanks so much for hopping on the show this evening. And if you have been affected by any of the content of this story, the Dublin Rape Crisis Centre helpline is 1800 778888, and you can also go to drcc.ie. Back in a sec.
Off the ball on Newstalk.